everyone, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a card with this brand new stamp set from the Stamps of Life. It's called StephieDoll4 and it's this adorable Stephanie doll. She has her bathing suit on and she has a pool float, and there is also a goggles and snorkel. And some of the sentiments: let's make a splash, splish splash, pool party, and good times and tan lines. So I'm going to start my card off by inking up the Steffi doll with some Spectrum Noir Finesse alcohol proof ink, using my Misty to stamp that out. And I stamped the image on some Spectrum Noir Ultra Smooth cardstock, and this cardstock and ink pad are used for alcohol marker coloring. So I am coloring her up with my Copics. I start with her hair, and for her hair I'm using E49 as my darkest color. So I always like to put my darkest color in the parts where the hair is, so you see it in the middle of the hair where the parts are on each side, as well as by the base and by the ends of her ponytail and top of her ponytail. I always like to put the colors down twice, so I run through the set of colors once and then I start over again and do it a second time, just because it makes the colors really pop when you run through them a second time. And for her skin, I'm using the E4, E11, E21, E00, and E000, and her cheeks is the R20. So I use that for her face as well as arms, neck, and legs. And again, I apply those and then run through that a second time as well, just to make those colors pop a little bit more. And then I am going to be coloring up her bathing suit, and her bathing suit will be pink, and I end up using the RV6 as the darkest color around the sides, and then I go into the RV4 and followed by the RV2. When I put the RV2 in the middle, it just looked like a big hole in the middle of her bathing suit, and I really did not like that way it looked. So I went back over with the RV6 on the outside and then filled everything in with the RV4. And then I took my white gel pen and just added these just little dots on her bathing suit, just to give it a nice little pattern. And then I die cut that out of the shadow die, and I also took the pool float die, not the shadow but the actual one that die cuts the pool float, and I die cut that out of some pattern paper, and you can see that it does cut the hole in the middle, and you can put the Steffi doll right inside of that pool float. So you can actually have your pool float in any kind of pattern paper that you want. Next, I'm taking a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock, and this is cut down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I'm making my sky background for my beach scene by just putting some of the Stamps of Life sky ink all over this cardstock. So I just use my ink blending tool, put it on the cardstock, and just add layers until it's as dark as I want it to be. Next, I cut 2 pieces of Bristol Smooth cardstock, 9 by 2.5 inches, and I'm putting some pool. I'm using the pool and the ocean Stamps of Life ink. So I put the pool around the outside edges, and then I put the ocean ink on the inside, and both of these cardstock layers are going to be exactly the same. So what I want to use these for are going to be waves for my beach scene. So I just wanted to use a couple different blues just to give some more texture and dimension to my waves. That's why I'm using those 2 colors. I am going to, once I've inked these up, I am going to take a border die, and the border die is going to be from the Sailboat to Stamp dies. It's actually the wave die that is included in that. And I'm going to end up die cutting both of these out of that wave die. So you're going to take the wave die and put it directly in the middle of each of those cardstock layers. So start out with the first one, make sure you tape it down with washi tape, run that through your die cut machine. When it comes out, just take your die and connect it to where it already die cut the piece, run it through again, and then you'll end up with this long wave, which you can use both pieces. And do the same thing with the other cardstock layer. So make sure you put it in the middle so that both pieces are the same size. Next, cut each one of those borders in half. So you're going to cut them so that each one is 4.5 inches. And now you have all of these borders that you can use for your beach scene. And here I'm just positioning them the way that I want them on my sky background. They will go off the background slightly on the left and right, but that's okay because you can always trim off the excess cardstock after you've glued them down. So I'm just positioning everything where I want them. I know that I want my doll stamp to go inside of the waves like she's actually swimming and the float is holding her above the water. You can also put her so that she's standing on the beach if you wanted to create a scene with her standing up, but I thought that she would look really cute in the waves. So I'm just positioning these waves how I want them. I am using that sun. That sun is for the summer, from the Summer for Fun dies. There is a stamp, as you can see there, the Summer for Fun stamp set, but I'm using the actual dies, and I die cut the shadow layer out of banana, I believe, and then the inside layer out of the sunshine paper, and I'm going to use that at the top left hand corner of my card. I also position the stamp, the sentiment stamp, where I want it in the top right. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the back layer of this ocean wave to my cardstock, and then I'm going to take the entire layer and place it in my MISTI. I'm just positioning that doll stamp so that I know how far up or down I need to go with that sentiment stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that out using some licorice ink, and that's going to go there in the top right hand corner. It's the Let's Make a Splash sentiment from the StephieDoll4 stamp set. And then when I finish that, I'll be ready to finish off this card. So I'm going to reposition those waves again and my Steffi doll inside of the waves. I decided that I'm going to trim off the bottom of her legs because I didn't want so much cardstock underneath those layers. So by trimming that off, it just lessens the thickness of that card. So here I go to apply the second wave layer. I am using my Tombow, not my Tombow, it's the Art Glitter Glue. This is a very strong glue and it will hold everything very, very strongly on the card. Then I'm going to add her, and I'm just trying to decide how far down do I want her float to go. Do I want some of the water showing behind it or underneath it? I go ahead and take her and the entire layer and just tape her down because that's exactly where I want her to go. So I just wanted to add the tape to be sure that she stayed in place. And then I'm going to add glue to the back side of this and adhere it down. I will be making 2 other cards in 2 other videos with this StephieDoll4 stamp set. One is actually going to be a card that is not a traditional beach scene, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. I make her out of into something else, so I'm just going to leave it at that for now. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and click that bell icon so that you can be notified when my new videos come out. I'm also going to be making a video using her as well as the floaties to stamp the club set for the month. It's going to be a shadow box tutorial, so again, stick around for that. That's coming up as well. So once I have everything glued down, just turn that card layer over and cut off the excess cardstock. There's quite a bit of thick layers there, so it's just taking some time just to cut through there. Then I go ahead and add my sun, and that's going to be at the top left hand corner, and I think that yellow in that sun, it pulls out the yellow in the float. So I love how all those colors come together. And then just flip that over, cut off the excess rays on the sun. And then as I was looking at this, thinking I was about done, I'm like, this needs something else. So I decided to go with the beach ball from the Summer for Fun stamp set. And I went ahead and stamped that out and coloring it up with the greens, YG67, YG17, and YG25. The reds are R24, R27, and R29. The blues are B24, B26, and B28. And then the yellows are going to be Y13, Y15, and Y17. So I color that up and I die cut it out with the matching dies. and I decide that I'm going to add this ball to the ocean. So I'm just going to glue that down, and I think that adds a lot more color, and I really love how it looks. In addition to color, I decided I want to go with a guava card base to pull out that pink in her bathing suit. So the card base is the guava cardstock, and it is an A2 in size. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So just glue that layer onto the card base, and this completes this card. So again, stay tuned for more videos using these fun Float and StephieDoll4 stamps. More videos to come. Bye-bye.